We're obviously here for a reason. We're in Las Vegas. Canelo Munguia is about to happen. I got your thoughts on it last time I saw you, so I know our Fight Hype fans are very familiar with how you think this fight goes. But I guess I'll ask you this time around, what does this win mean for Canelo? Let's say Canelo wins.
Well, I think every win means something for Canelo. It would be his 70th. It would kind of continue to polish his record. It would be a win over an unbeaten fighter, 43-0. Who has gone on a winning streak and who, by the way, beat John Ryder more easily than Canelo did. So that comparison, I think, is what helped vault him into the position of getting this fight. Probably the biggest thing that this fight means for Canelo is a negative. He can't afford to lose it. And it is a fight that he could conceivably lose. But given everything he's done and what he has polished up to this point, and his ultimate goal, which is to put his record out of sight so that, in general, the bulk of the Mexican audience will see him as the #1 Mexican fighter of all time. That's an elusive goal. That's a difficult goal to reach. And if he wants to reach it, and I think he does, he cannot afford the loss to Jaime Munguia. Just as much as anything, because it's Guadalajara versus Tijuana. And a lot of Mexican fans are going to say, see, I told you, the legitimate fighter is the Tijuana fighter, if in fact Munguia pulls off the upset.
Gotcha. 2 more questions for you. So, obviously, fight fans want to see Canelo versus Benavidez. And based on Canelo's schedule, most would assume he's going to fight in September around Mexican Independence Day. But there's been recent news and people saying things, including the man himself, Edgar Berlanga, that he's potentially going to have that fight next. So that's next for Canelo. What do you think about Berlanga potentially getting Canelo in September? Does he merit that over somebody like David Benavidez?
Well, if Canelo can fight somebody who is a legitimate 168-pounder as opposed to either David Benavidez or David Morrell, both of whom are about to move up to 175 and can be seen as larger guys, maybe that is an incentive for him. But he doesn't get nearly as much public acclaim and notoriety for his record by beating Berlanga as he would get from beating either Benavidez or Morrell, because the idea has now been circulated and by many fans adopted that he's ducking Benavidez and Morrell. So there's a threat to his credibility now in the marketplace if he does not choose to take the fight against one of the 2 Davids and goes for Berlanga instead, because Berlanga, despite his record, is seen as the softer touch.
Gotcha. Last question for you. Huge card happening August 3rd with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. What do you think about that card? And based on your vast knowledge of boxing, when can you remember one like this?
Well, I can't remember one exactly like it, no. The Sheikh's economic power, or the sub-sheikh, whatever kind of a sheikh he is, I don't really understand the hierarchy of royalty and power in Saudi Arabia, but he has shown us within a year his ability to transform the landscape of boxing and make the fights that he wants to make. So I think the success of the card in the eyes of the public is going to go a long way toward determining how much more weight he can throw around, and he's throwing around a lot of weight right now.
Gotcha. We'll let you go, Jim, but before we do, I know you're doing a lot nowadays. People can follow you and watch you cover sports, still cover boxing specifically, rather. Tell us about that.
ppv.com. You buy the pay-per-view for the fight, and in addition to watching the telecast and listening to the telecast commentators, blow-by-blow expert commentator, unofficial scorer, etc., you can also join into a live chat that's being conducted in text during the fight by Jim Lampley and Lance Pugmire and now Chris Algieri and Dan Canobio, all 4 of us commenting according to our thoughts on what's going on the fight, and the viewer, who is a part of the chat, can answer us back or ask us a question or be a part of the discussion on their own. It's a new medium of communication created by the constant evolution of electronic media in this world, and a great way for everybody to join in participating in commentary on the fight.
Thank you so much, Jim, for your time. We appreciate you.
My privilege. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Fight Hype.